Big thanks to Alex. He sells mushrooms at the market next to Tori. Got a whole truckload of mushroom compost here. We're gonna unload this and then use it on the beds when we're flipping beds and stuff like that. Okay, compost pile. Just gotta back the truck up, get it unloaded. All right, back it up. Dude, back the truck up. I'm waiting on you. She's not working again. Come on, dude. I had to move the truck back. Can't believe these millennial employees.
So lazy.
Ridiculous. Listen, buddy. You want a paycheck. You're not just gonna show up and get paid, all right? You don't get paid by the hour. You get paid by the value you bring to the hour. So you're gonna have to work harder, all right? We planted 50 tomatoes here this morning. We're getting ready to move this tunnel over here and then take this tarp and move it back to another plot. Yeah. So move this tarp, we just folded it over itself until it was this shape. And then I'm gonna tie it to the mower and then drag it. So this is a running bowline. It's like a slip knot basically, but it will never come undone. The harder you pull it, the tighter it gets. So that goes up here. This is a regular bowline. So tight and ready to go. All right, got to this plot, so hopefully we can just pull it. Oh, it didn't work perfect, but it's still pretty easy. This looks different. So we got the stakes pulled out and reset every 5 feet. Tori's setting them ahead of me, and then I'm coming through and setting them. So the hoops just sit on the rebar there, and there's 20 hoops. Alright, moved and set up in less than 4 hours. We want to have a productive day tomorrow. It's supposed to rain all day, so we're going to be planting tomatoes in there. Now we have to fix this tunnel. It was really windy yesterday, and it actually caught it just right and blew it like halfway off. So we gotta undo that end, readjust it, loosen the strings, bring the plastic back down so it's even, and then tighten the strings, and then should be done for the day. Hey guys, my bad. Didn't record like anything today. We're behind, so I was more worried about getting the work done instead of talking about it. And then we had a volunteer come, Sandy came, and we got 200 tomatoes planted, but we had to like do a little bed prep, get the drip irrigation down, get the weed mat down, set up the trellis, set up the ropes, all that stuff. But it feels really good to finally have this tunnel moved and planted. So this row of taller plants is sun golds that really needed to get out of the basement, and this is Dark Galaxy. That's a pretty cool bigger tomato that my friend from Possum Bottom Farm told me about. This first 50 feet is Dark Galaxy tomatoes, which is an heirloom, and then the other 50 feet is sun golds. That seemed to be a favorite last year. That's my personal favorite, so we planted more. So like reading the news and then reading social media, quarantine sucks, and I kind of feel like it's stealing people's spring from them. Granted, I understand the medical thing about that, but I'm just gonna go through and get some shots of spring, things that it's just good to look at because it's spring, and we just went through a winter, even though it still seems like a winter, but Alright, so last night Doug came out here and we moved the bees from over here to over there. And bees, you just like tape up the front of the hive and they don't come out, and then you pick them up and move them. But when we pulled the tape off, they were like, woo! So I'm gonna go fix it now. You're all out here like, dude, what? Bees do not like the front of their hive messed with. There we go. I do have bee videos with Doug and Sylvia, and you have to look back a little bit. They're from last spring. We'll probably do some more this year. I started keeping bees with an old boss of mine that was like a mentor, Roger, when I was 19, and kind of been doing it ever since. Not so much now because vegetables take so much time, but that's like 10 years with bees. They're really fascinating, but a lot of chickens are a lot of people's gateways into growing food and eating organic and stuff like that, but ours was bees. Gotta love that spring morning light. These tomatoes did alright last night. Holy guacamole, it's a busy day. Tori's cropping out this bed, she cropped out another bed. I went through and trellised and pruned all the cucumbers and the tomatoes. We got stuff to plant, tons of stuff. Productive afternoon, got the tomatoes covered, the other tomatoes covered. This is that cucumber blanket thing, same thing, just hooked on the tomahawks. Comes down below. And it's probably 80 in here right now, so that should be good overnight. Cucumbers covered, got that collard bed flipped and ready to seed arugula. Tomorrow, if we have time on harvest day, I'm gonna flip that and get it ready for carrots. Tori and Helen volunteer got this bed planted. These are the tomatoes we planted yesterday. And they also planted this bed. So Tori's just hand watering it now to make sure we get really good moisture in. Someone had asked about our end wall here and on the other side. Something about wiggle wire or something. So there is wiggle wire here. That's for all of this. And then there's wiggle wire right here for the front. And then there's 1x1s screwed into the bottom. That's how the door is made too. And then on that top bar we have wiggle wire. And the rest of it's just 2x4s. So the total cost to do this wall was $100. I just have these plates. One screwed into the metal and one screwed into the wood. It's the same thing on the corner here. This one just wraps around the metal, or it's screwed into the wood over here and there. So that door is big enough to fit the BCS in here to go to any of these beds. On the base of this we have rebar. It's like probably 2 feet long, but we bent it here, drilled a hole and pounded it in just as like an anchor. So there's 4 of those along the base, 2 on each side, and the way that these are screwed in on the front, that one goes around, wraps around the top, same thing. Ideally you can unscrew this, pull the rebar out, and then fold the whole thing this way, and then we have to take the plastic out of the wiggle wire. So ideally you could take the plastic out of the wiggle wire, take the 1x1s off, unscrew these points here, down there and over there, and just take the rebar out and pull that whole thing off and carry it to a new spot. The back end here, this is one solid piece with wiggle wire on the other side, and then the same method, 2x4 with the rebar. Gotta get those weeds, don't worry, it's getting cultivated Friday. And then the same wrapping method on the end. Here's the outside of the other end wall, and we can undo it here and flap it open if we need to, or over there if we need the airflow, but the sides will open up enough to get enough airflow through there. So this piece is just folded over. Tori knows how to sew and stuff, so one channel on the outside, it's like folded and cut and then refolded. She'd have to explain the sewing part of it to get it like that tight, but and that's it. The 1x1s down there, try and get it done as cheap as possible. That's how we roll it. Well, it said it was 36 last night in the city we live by, so it's probably about 35 here. So check on these guys, see how the tomatoes and cucumbers did. Those seem alright. Check on the cucumbers. Everything's good in this tunnel. Okay, it's Thursday, it's harvest day, so got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of pre-orders this week that it's gonna be a challenge to fill. It's a tough time of year to have stuff available, but got clean hands, clean knives, clean totes. So gonna get started. Just finished washing the pack and now Tori's getting eggs.
Chickens! Chick, 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 chick! Hey!
So these are all plants that we got from friends. The woody plants, blackberries, and then there's service berries in there and other things. Those are from my friend Ross. Ross is a land manager for a massive farm here in North Carolina. We worked with him and his wife for a year together. Very talented in permaculture. And then the other ones are from John and Angela, heirloom permaculture. And then the figs here are from Nick, who's living with Paul Gauchi. What do you think about this week?
It was good.
Crazy.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I hope people keep buying from us, depending on how
Yeah.
the economy goes and everything.
Yeah, I'm just really grateful of everyone that keeps coming.
Yeah.
Keeps coming back.
It's actually the most we've ever sold in a week, money-wise. And this time of year, also known as the hunger gap, it's hard to have things available. So a lot of that's due to on-farm sales and the 2 markets we're doing now instead of 1. So hopefully this keeps up, because that actually pays the bills and allows us to reinvest in things like that. Try and bring some value for the people growing their own food out there. So carrot bed, that was seeded. I think I did that on my birthday in November, and then this carrot bed we had just seeded. So those seeds are coming up. They're good. They germinated really well. So I'm going to show you guys the trick we use to germinate carrots here. So when we seed them, you prep the bed, whatever your garden situation is, prep your bed. Don't seed them very deep because it's a small seed. It doesn't have the energy to push out of a lot of soil. And then cover it. We cover it with the white tarp, but you can cover it with row cover, you can cover it with cardboard, you can cover it with weed mat, you can cover it with a blanket. You just need something. You can cover it with a trash bag, I guess. You just need to cover it to hold the moisture in there. And so actually this is the way we do carrots. This particular bed is arugula, and then we're going to be doing carrots over here today or tomorrow. but this was seeded on Friday. It's now Sunday, and if I pull this up here, you can see they're starting to germinate already in 2 days. If you do have a tarp, the reason we use white side up is because it reflects the sun and doesn't heat the soil up. It keeps a stable temperature and holds all the moisture. And you can see that it works pretty good. That's I gotta take this off because it's ready. Always knocking this thing over. Alright, so cultivating the things that the tarp didn't kill. Tori just went through and broad forked the bed. And yeah, we're almost ready to seed. We're just gonna rake it level and then put the seed down and water it, but we'll show you guys. You wanna make sure it's watered really, really heavy. So when Tori's done watering, we'll pull this tarp down over the bed and put sandbags on it and then wait probably 4 to 5 days until it germinates.